I'm Johnny Massacre, and welcome to the Johnny Massacre Show. This is the Wednesday Night Massacre, and I want to ask you, what if? What if Donald Trump wins the election? So I have some thoughts on this. I've been off the radar. Me. Call me a narcissist, call my ego out of control, but I have had some thoughts on what will happen if Donald Trump wins the election, and I really wanted to share it with you. So, polls. What the fuck are polls? People interview potential voters, ask them who they're voting for, and then the media show you the number. And all the polls show Biden winning. Well, Ben Shapiro, my favourite political commentator, who does know a thing or two about politics and vicious debate, he was talking about polls and he shed quite a lot of interesting light on it. He said that at this point, Donald Trump is around 8 points down against Biden, whereas 4 years ago in 2016, the polls that were wrong were only about 3 points wrong max. So he's saying polls are not 8 points wrong generally. So that is quite concerning. However, he did mention one poll, and I mentioned this on a previous Johnny Massacre show. The poll's question is, are you happier now in 2020, pre-Donald Trump campaign re-election, or were you happier in 2016? And the majority of people said they're happier now. So if you're looking at things politically and you're happier now than then, why would you vote the guy out of office who's made your life better? So what that might mean is people will not directly say they're voting for Trump. They're either going to lie and say they're voting for Biden, or they're just going to lie and say they're undecided. Whereas people will admit they're happier now, which is a tacit admission that they're voting for Trump, because it is less acceptable to admit you're a Donald Trump supporter now than at any point within the last 4 years. Look at the last year. You've had celebrities, Hollywood, actresses, singers, rappers, sportsmen, athletes, team coaches. I mean, just fucking everyone is coming out cussing Donald Trump. So they want to make it so that you can't even say that you support Donald Trump. But I was having a mad thought today on my run. I read the book 1984 by George Orwell recently, and it's a nightmare vision of totalitarianism. Because in this book, like all totalitarian regimes, they push their politics on you through force, sometimes even physical force and pressure. They can do it physically. They can intimidate you. They can burn shit. They can riot. They can loot. But they cannot change your thoughts in real life. And that is your freedom. It doesn't matter what someone does to you. It doesn't even matter what you say. Your thoughts are private. And that is the real essence of yourself, that opinion. And no one can take that away from you. But in the book 1984, they do take it away from you. And it feels like that's what the left-wing media and hardcore leftists at large are trying to do. They don't just want to shut Trump supporters up. They don't just want to bully them. They actually want to somehow change the way they think. If there was a magic button they could press to do that, they would do it. And that's what they did in the book 1984. So you know what? What if Donald Trump does win this election? Do you know what it means? Freedom. It means America still is a free country. It means people are free to do what they want. They can choose what they want without having to bow down to what someone else wants to do, because we're all respected as individuals. I'm still reading the book Gulag Archipelago by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. And in that book, he talks about the freedom of thought. And he says the same thing. He says, even when they strip everything away from you, they beat you, they take all your possessions, you want to tear your hair out, but there's nothing there because they've shaved your head. He says, you are still free because you have your thoughts and they can never take it away from you. Viktor E. Frankl said the same thing in Man's Search for Meaning. And if Donald Trump wins the election, it means that you're free. It is not going to be rigged, because if someone who's that rallied against in the media can win, that means the people can still choose. Now, I'm not saying America is totally free. Even the best countries have corruption. But unlike some countries that force you to vote for someone, in America, there's no one with a gun standing at the ballot booth forcing you to vote for anyone. So with that in mind, and with the fact that crime and skullduggery is still frowned upon in America, if Donald Trump wins, it means pure freedom. And that's what I wanted to say today. I've been off the radar. I'm on a vacation, which is me just like staying in here, cleaning shit and doing shit on my list that I never get to usually attend to. And it's fucking amazing. But for that reason, I'm off the radar. So I don't really know what's going on politically. It's amazing getting away from your phone. And fuck, I tell you what, if you just see anyone constantly touching their phone, I don't care what they're looking at, they're just addicted. The phone is a window to addiction. The little red symbols, all those addictive messages, it's such a passive thing. You're always waiting for something to happen, waiting for someone to send you a message. I do recommend getting away from your fucking phones, people. The thing is, you're going to need your phones more and more and more. Hey, who knows? With the C word, you might need some special pass on your phone to even travel and get the fucking train. And then we'll all be hooked into the matrix. But for now, I'm decoupling from it. So forgive me for not really knowing what's going on in the political world. Some shit did seep through to me, though. So I'm going to share with you the very little stuff that's come through from the outside world. So my mate, he told me that Donald Trump did a rally in Ohio and in Florida, and Biden did one in Ohio. Ohio is where my mate is originally from. So this is what Biden's fucking rally looked like. And this is what Donald Trump's looked like in Florida. So, hey, it could be propaganda, but make of that what you will. I thought that was pretty interesting. My mate sent me that, and he's usually pretty accurate in what he sends me. The other interesting thing was, now this is a little bit random, I've got to admit, but in light of that, in light of not many people turning up to that Biden rally and loads of people turning up to the Trump rally, and getting away from the media, because media, although it's extremely powerful and sets the global narrative because it just drills things into your brain and humans just respond to that, things that are repeated. In spite of that, they are legacy media. They are out of date. And what is really much more telling these days is big tech and social media. So I went onto Instagram and I did hashtag in the fucking hashtag, mate. Put it in the hashtag. I did hashtag Trump and I did hashtag Biden. And when you do that on Insta, there's a predictive hashtag algorithm that suggests to you the most popular hashtags with that keyword and variations of them. So when I did Biden, look what came up. Biden-Harris 2020, 286,000 posts. Biden 2020, 338,000 posts. Biden, 351. And then when I did Trump, look, Trump, 3.2 million. That's for Trump 2020. Hashtag Trump, 15.3 million. Biden, 338,000. Now, you could say a lot of those are negative because the mainstream media who cusses Donald Trump all the time actually really profits off him. And without Donald Trump, they wouldn't be making nearly as much money. But even so, as they say, any publicity is good publicity. And that's what Robert E. Greene says in the 48 Laws of Power, the most popular prison book of all time. So make of that what you will. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, Trump 2020 has pretty much nearly the same as Biden 2020. It's got a fucking flag emoji next to it. That's got to chop off at least 1 million potential hits. So that was pretty interesting. Isn't social media the modern day poll? Does that mean Trump is going to win? The silent majority's out there. You're very silent. Why don't you say something, mate? My mate said a good point. He said a lot of the potential voters are actually old people who don't use that kind of shit. But young people vote less than old people. So if the youngsters using Insta are going to fucking be all over Trump, maybe he's just going to win it. I don't know. I wanted to share that with you anyways. And I'll tell you what, mate, you better be back for the next video. Otherwise, I'll be coming round your house. Make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell because that is what all those other cunts tell you to do. Laters.